something we don't remember but still carry, has been choosing for us all along. Maybe love isn't the problem. Maybe our nervous system, shaped in the heat of childhood, is still trying to find safety in the places it once got burned. Maybe the very pain we run from is the echo of the only love we ever knew. There are reasons your heart keeps walking toward the familiar even when the familiar hurts. And there's a way to break the spell, not by fighting yourself, but by finally understanding what your body's been trying to say. By the end of this talk, you'll see how an unseen past has been shaping your present and what you can do next. What if nothing about you is broken? What if the patterns you judge yourself for, the people you chase, the walls you build, the ways you numb, aren't signs of failure, but signs of survival? When we talk about trauma, most people picture something dramatic: violence, disaster, abuse. But trauma isn't just what happened to you. It's what happened inside you as a result of what you went through. It's the way your body and mind had to twist themselves to stay safe when safety wasn't there. For some of us, the pain came not from what was done, but from what was missing. Emotional neglect doesn't always look cruel. It can look quiet. It's growing up in a home where feelings were too much or not enough, where you learn to smile instead of cry, to perform instead of ask, to shrink instead of risk being seen. That absence of warmth and attunement doesn't leave visible scars, but it shapes the nervous system just as deeply. As children, we adapt in the smartest ways possible. We learn to read moods like weather, to sense danger in a tone of voice, to disappear or please in order to keep the peace. Those adaptations were brilliant. They kept us alive, emotionally, sometimes even physically. But when we grow up, those same strategies turn against us. The radar that once protected us now keeps us hypervigilant in love. The walls that kept us safe now keep us lonely. The people-pleasing that won us approval now robs us of authenticity. So when we ask, why do I keep choosing people who hurt me? The answer isn't because I'm broken. It's because a younger part of me still believes this is how love feels. That's why we start here with compassion. We are not asking what's wrong with us. We're asking what happened to us and what we needed that we never got. Because once we can see our patterns not as flaws, but as the body's way of saying, I've been scared for a long time, then healing becomes possible. She always fell for the quiet ones, the ones who looked at her with a kind of faraway tenderness, like they were listening but from another room. Their calm felt grounding at first, safe, predictable. Then a few weeks in, she'd feel it. The subtle drift. Texts grew shorter, plans slipped, affection turned into polite check-ins. And there she was again, chasing after crumbs, trying to decode silence, apologizing for needs that were never met. Her name could be anyone's. Let's call her Maya. Maya grew up in a home where emotions were like weather, sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy, always unpredictable. Her mother worked too much and worried too loudly. Her father retreated into long silences, the kind that filled the house like fog. When Maya cried, her mother would sigh and tell her to stop being dramatic. When she smiled, her father would soften for a moment, then vanish again into the newspaper. So she learned early, don't need too much, don't make waves, be easy to love. As an adult, she became skilled at reading the room before she even entered it. She could sense tension in a heartbeat, adjust her tone, shrink her feelings. Her friends admired how chill she was, how she never complained. But beneath that calm was a constant hum of anxiety. What if I'm too much? What if they leave? Each relationship started with hope and ended with the same ache. She'd meet someone distant and think, Maybe if I love them right, they'll open up. When they pulled away, she'd double down, send another message, plan another date, try harder to be under love. What she didn't see was that she wasn't chasing people. She was chasing a feeling, familiarity, that mix of longing and distance that once defined love in her childhood home. The emotional hunger she mistook for chemistry was really recognition, her nervous system whispering, I know this place. There are three truths hidden in Maya's story. First, when we grow up with emotional distance, our bodies memorize that as normal. So when someone feels unavailable, it feels right, even if it hurts. Second, if our needs were met with silence, we learn to equate love. Third, what looks like self-sabotage is actually the body's loyalty to an old pattern. The nervous system is still trying to finish an unfinished story, hoping that this time, if we love hard enough, we'll finally be chosen. Maya's not broken, she's repeating what once kept her safe. And somewhere deep down, a part of her is beginning to wonder what would happen if love didn't have to feel like waiting at a closed door. He woke up before the alarm again. Not out of discipline, out of dread. His mind was already sprinting emails, deadlines, the next thing. Coffee first, then work, then maybe the gym if he had the energy. He told himself he was just driven, but the truth was simpler. Slowing down scared him. His name could be anyone's, let's call him Daniel. On the surface, Daniel looked solid. Good job, good apartment, good posture when he spoke in meetings. But in the quiet moments, after the call ended, after the gym, after one glass of wine turned into three, something in him felt hollow, restless, like a noise he couldn't shut off. So he stayed busy. He buried himself in productivity, in notifications, and constant doing. When work ended, he scrolled. When scrolling lost its charge, he drank. Not to feel good, but to stop feeling bad. He called it unwinding, but it was really escaping. A slow fade into numbness that looked socially acceptable. If you asked about his childhood, he'd shrug. Nothing dramatic, he'd say. Good parents, strict but caring. But look closer and you'd see the small fractures. The father who valued achievement more than emotion, the mother who kept everything fine even when it wasn't. There was no space for fear, no room for sadness. When Daniel cried, his father would say, be strong. When he succeeded, his mother would beam, we're so proud. Love came with performance. So he learned to earn it, to keep moving, to stay in control. As an adult, that drive looked like ambition, but underneath was panic. If he stopped, the old ache might catch up. The loneliness of never being truly seen, the quiet terror of not being enough. His coping wasn't about pleasure. It was about protection. The drink, the scrolling, the endless work. They were all ways of saying, please don't make me feel that again. This is where compassion has to enter. Because the real question isn't why the addiction, it's why the pain. What emptiness is he soothing? What truth is too heavy to hold? When we see the behavior through that lens, it stops being a moral failure and starts being a cry for safety. The problem isn't that Daniel feels too little. It's that somewhere long ago, he learned it wasn't safe to feel at all. The overwork, the distraction, the numbing, they're all love stories in disguise. They tell us what the body had to do to survive in a world that didn't know how to hold its pain. So as we listen to his story, maybe we can turn inward. When do we reach for something, our phone, our to-do list, a drink, not because we want it, but because we can't bear what's underneath. And what might begin to heal if, just once this week, we stayed with the feeling instead of running from it. Imagine your body as a house with a smoke alarm. The alarm's job is to protect you, to go off at the first sign of danger. But here's the thing. If, as a child, your house was often filled with emotional smoke, raised voices, cold silences, unpredictable moods, your alarm learned to be extra sensitive. It had to. It learned to blare at the faintest hint of threat because that's what kept you safe. That's what implicit memory is, the body's version of remembering. It doesn't record events in words or pictures. It records sensations, tension, heartbeats, the feeling of not being safe. So even if your mind has forgotten, your body hasn't. It's still scanning for smoke. That's why you might find yourself overreacting to something small. A text left unread, a partner's sigh, a tone of voice that feels just a little off. Your rational mind says, I know this isn't a big deal. But your body says, this feels familiar. This feels like danger. It's not that you're dramatic or broken. It's that your smoke alarm is doing exactly what it was trained to do. The mind and body aren't separate rooms. They're one house, wired together. Every thought sends signals to the body, every sensation sends messages back. The problem is that when the alarm has been ringing for years, we start to live as if the fire never stopped. We forget what calm feels like. Here's the hopeful part. Alarms can be reset, slowly, gently, with practice. Each time you notice your chest tighten or your breath shorten, and instead of judging yourself, you say, of course I feel this, it makes sense. You begin to rewire safety into your system. You teach your body that the danger is over. Maybe your smoke alarm has been loud for a long time, but it's not broken, it's loyal. It's just been waiting for someone to tell it the house is safe now. Start small. Healing begins with awareness, not perfection. One gentle way to begin is with an awareness journal. For a week, simply notice when your body tightens, your breath shortens, or you reach for distraction. Work, scrolling, food, anything. Write down what was happening, who you were with, and what you felt just before the reaction. You're not judging, just observing. This helps you see the patterns your body already knows, but your mind hasn't named yet. When a trigger arises, try asking a few compassion inquiry questions. What might this feeling be trying to protect me from? When have I felt this before? What do I need right now that I didn't get then? These questions are meant to dig for pain. They're meant to bring kindness where shame used to live. Over time, they help you respond with curiosity instead of blame. Add one simple somatic pause each day. When you notice your system speeding up, stop for 10 seconds. Breathe slowly out longer than you breathe in. Feel your feet on the floor, look around the room, and name 3 colors you see. This small act tells the body you're here and you're safe. It anchors the present moment so the past doesn't keep running the show. Choose one boundary to practice this week. Something small and real, like saying I need a minute before I answer, or letting a call go to voicemail. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors with doorknobs. They remind your body that you get to decide when and how to open. Each small act of protection teaches your nervous system that safety is possible now. Finally, reach for one safe connection. It could be a trusted friend, a support group, or a therapist trained in trauma-informed care. Connection rewires the nervous system in ways self-help cannot. It shows your body that closeness doesn't always mean danger. Healing happens in relationship because that's where the wound began. Each of these steps works because they build trust between you and your own body, trust that you can feel, pause, protect, and connect without being overwhelmed. And as always, if at any point the emotions feel too heavy to hold alone, it's wise and courageous to seek support from a qualified mental health professional. Healing isn't meant to be a solo act. It's something we grow into together. Both Maya and Daniel were trying to grow in soil that once felt unsafe. One chased love through distance, the other chased numbness through doing. But both were really reaching for the same thing: relief, belonging, peace. The work now isn't to erase their patterns, but to bring light to them, to let awareness seep through the cracks, like sunlight finding its way through old roots. That's how real change begins, not in sudden breakthroughs, but in slow, steady moments of safety. A single deep breath, one honest boundary, one day where you pause before the old habit takes over. Every small act of awareness is a root turning toward light. Change is slow because safety takes time, and that's okay. Tiny wins count. They're proof that something in you still believes in life.